We saw it first in the spring, but now the H1N1 virus, what we know as swine flu, has really gotten a foothold in the Valley community. And it's clear that this is a health problem a little different from anything experts have seen in a while.
About every 30 or 40 years, what has happened is suddenly a brand new flu virus appears.
It's a variety of the flu that most people have never seen anything that looks like this. And that means that a large part of the population has no immunity for it, which means it's going to infect a lot of people, and it's going to move from person to person a lot more easily.
It spreads very easily, and that is particularly dangerous for people in their 20s and older people.
When the H1N1 virus first reared its ugly head in California and Mexico, people dubbed it the swine flu because of the notion that it came from pigs. However, this is not an entirely accurate name for this disease.
Flu viruses really do not predominantly a virus of human beings. It's actually a family of viruses that are seen most often in birds. And related viruses can actually also affect other animals, in particular pigs in particular. And what seems to happen every 30 or 40 years is that somehow there will be a human being who will be infected with a bird virus or a swine virus, or a pig is infected with several different viruses at the same time. And as these several different viruses are in the animal at the same time, they sort of mix and match each other and come out at the other end with a brand new virus. And that's what's happened this year.
Every year the seasonal flu, it changes its form, but its form is still a lot like stuff that you saw when you were a kid or you saw when you were a teenager, and so your body has partial immunity to it.
And this one is a virus which has got components of birds, components of two different kinds of swine viruses, and a human virus. So it's a reassortment of about 4 different viruses into something which looks very different than anything which we've seen in the United States pretty much ever. So this is a brand new flu virus, but the reason for concern is that this is brand new and no one's got any real significant immunity to it. And when this actually happens, we tend to see more people become infected and with more serious infections being seen.
Flu, it gets deeper into your lungs than the seasonal flu, so there's a greater chance of secondary infections, there's a greater chance of viral pneumonia.
But before you lock yourselves in your houses or break out the surgical masks to wear in public, there is a silver lining to this seemingly hopeless situation. Sort of.
We're really lucky with this flu that it's not very severe in terms of the symptoms.
Right. Well, the one thing about the H1N1 and the seasonal flu is they're still basically the same kind of influenza viruses, and the same approaches which work for seasonal flu work for H1N1 as well. So an immediate take-home message is to avoid being around other people who are coughing or sneezing, and to wash your hands frequently.
I wash my hands, whenever I can. I try to keep my immune system up with a good diet.
I'm not too concerned about it. You try to do the right thing. Washing your hands, keep your hands clean. You try to keep your immune system up and do the best you can. Other than that, I think the flu is a natural thing that we have to live with and adjust with.
The other thing is, I think it's good practice. Eventually there's going to be a flu that comes around that is very serious. And as a nation, we should get the systems in place to handle the serious flu epidemic that will occur eventually. These things are constantly evolving, mutating, and eventually one's going to mutate that is like the flu virus in the early part of the 20th century that killed millions and millions of people.
For GazetteNet, this is Sarah Cody.